Good day. Welcome to the Petersfield High School Guidance and Counseling Department Values Corner. May is celebrated as Values and Attitudes Month, and we here at Petersfield High School will be celebrating our Values and Attitudes Week during the week of May 17 through 21. Today, we're going to be having a panel discussion on values and what it means to us. We have a wide cross-section of the school today in our panel. Here beside me we have Mr. Rajiv Super. He is an English language teacher. Then we have Mrs. Denise Cameron, the Executive Secretary. Right beside Mrs. Cameron we have our principal, Mr. Ron Green. Then our head girl, Miss Demoya Thompson. We have our head boy, Mr. Malik Nelson. And last but by no means least, Miss Cynthia Wooden, our canteen supervisor. You will hear today about the different views on values and what it means to each and every one of us there. We will be taking a short break and then we'll be right back. Welcome back. So we're going to go right into our questions. And we're going to ask each person the same question. I'm going to start this time with Mr. Supra. Sir, what does the word value mean to you?
Alright, firstly, hi everyone that's viewing. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. For me, the values of a person is just the principles that they have. Every human being carries out different actions, and not everyone will think the same of certain actions that people carry out. So I think that our values are how we view those actions based on our personal belief. That's what it is for me.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Cameron, let's answer.
Hi everyone, good morning. For me, values speaks to the moral guidelines that a person uses by which they live, make their decisions and their choices on a daily basis.
Thank you, Mrs. Cameron. Mr. Green, your answer.
I'll try not to take off my mask. Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here. The term values for me speaks to the principles, the standards that governs a country, those that we hold in high regards. And those are the norms by which society should grow, should actually operate.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Thompson.
Good morning. I believe that values are basically our experience, our beliefs, what we believe in, and our principles that we follow during our lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nelson.
Okay, so for me, basically, values is just guidelines that I use in day-to-day life, and I would say instructions we go by to better ourselves in society.
Great. Good.
Yes, so values is like the way how we prepare and the way how we behave. That is my point in value. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we hear that our values are the things that should guide us, right, in our everyday life. All right, so I'm going to start with Mrs. Cameron at this time. How have values shaped your beliefs and your life?
Alright, I'll try as best as possible to project through the mask, not a loud talker. Alright, how has values shaped my life? Values have done a lot for me as a person. It has helped me in making choices in terms of the spiritual aspect of my life, the educational aspect of my life, personal aspect of my life, even in goals, the things that I seek to achieve. Values has helped me to think about what's priority, what's important, what can stay for next year, or the next day or the next minute. So they have played a great role in my life.
Great. Mr. Green, we're going that side.
Is it the question for me?
How have values shaped your beliefs and your life?
Good morning again, colleagues, those who are watching. It's interesting that question, and I'm thinking about it now. You see, I am old school. I grew up in a situation where a community grows a child, and so my value system initially was based on that. I can recall growing up where my godmother was my Bible school teacher, was also my grade 6 teacher. And from then you would have learned certain values, for example, honesty, integrity, commitment, humility. And those have transformed me throughout life in terms of everything I do. Because everything I do, I go back there. Simple thing in terms of being punctual. That punctuality for me has been everything. And that was instilled in me going to high school. Because in the country growing up, you have to catch a bus at 6 o'clock. And if you miss that 6 o'clock bus, you're going to be late for school and you're going to get detention. And so from then you have to learn to get up early, look after your clothes, breakfast, everything to be out. So I've learned a lot from my community parents coming up, and those have channeled how how I've thought and what I've done in the past up to now. It has helped me a lot.
Great.
Well, for me, values has grown me. When you grow with proper principle, it helps you to groom yourself into who you will become in the future. Good principle, it helps us into who we will become. And when we believe and grow with good principle, we can achieve whatever we want.
Okay, so for me now, values has changed me a lot. It has transformed me into the man I am today. For me, honesty is one of those values that I possess a lot. Being obedient as well has brought me a far way. And for me, values is just one of those many things that has groomed me becoming a young man in society.
Yes, values have changed me in many ways. In preparing for over the past year working at Petersfield High School, I see enough change in values, because getting up certain time, prepare myself and on time to work all the while, so that really is a value that.
Okay. How have values shaped my life? I think it's an important question that the viewers could actually ask themselves. Growing up, I like how Mr. Green shared this story about growing up. I'm going to share a little bit of my story as well. Growing up, I came from a situation where one of the main values that was instilled in me ever since I was a child was to always appreciate what you have. Don't focus on the things that you don't have or the things that you cannot attain, but you should always focus on what it is that you have, the things that you can be grateful for, because honestly, they are blessings and they are things that you never did have to have in the first place. So for me, being grateful is one of the values that was always instilled in me, and it has helped me to become the person I am today.
All right. Thank you very much, panelists, for your answers and coming out of this question. There are a lot of things that we can look at, that our values will shape our goals, help us to prioritize, help us to be honest, having integrity. And so with that, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to focus on the value that we will be looking at.
Yo, is it? Are you kidding me? To us, yeah. So we are coming in with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, in a rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks.
Welcome back. So we know that May is Values and Attitudes Month, but here at Petersfield High School, our Values and Attitudes Week, we will be focusing on the value of honesty. It is such an important value to have, to be instilled in all of us, whether students, parents, colleagues. It is important. And I'm looking at a scenario where there are so many persons, our children nowadays, they are saying we don't have to work or we don't have to go to school, to college, because we can just take up a phone and make it in life. So looking at that, first question, and I'm going to our head girl this time as a student, from your perspective, do you think persons who are honest make it in life?
I do believe that persons who are honest make it in life because honesty is a part of success. When you are honest with yourself, it actually shows that you are worth doing business with. You can be trusted, and that it do helps us into making the better choices. Because if we are honest with ourselves, we will make the better choices and choices that is good for us.
Great. Mr. Nelson?
Okay, so for me, honesty is the best policy. And honesty, when you're honest, you'll be trustworthy to persons. And honesty, for me, has helped me a lot, because for me as a student, honesty has brought me a far way in teachers trusting me in certain situations as well. And for me, as Michelle will say, the choice you make today affects you tomorrow. So honesty has helped me to make positive choices as well.
Great. It's good.
Yes, honesty is the best of life, because I remember one day standing inside the canteen as one student come to me and said, Miss Joy, right at the canteen doorway, I pick up $1,000. He said, I know who it is. After that, I see a little boy run come and said to me, say, Miss, me just lost $1,000 here. He said, me look papa and he said, sure, it's $1,000. The $1,000 is here. He said, yes, yes, yes. Me honest to you, Miss Joy. Me honest to you, the $1,000 is mine. He said, all right, me honest to you, so me I will give you $1,000. So that is what I believe in honesty.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good. Mr. Green? Why is it important? No, sorry. Do you think persons who are honest make it in life?
The term make it in life is something that one depends on how one interprets it. Being honest should allow you to be yourself. You can make it in life without having material things, depending on your value system. You can make it in life in terms of wealth by being honest. And so I want to share with my listeners, hard work, as my students would have said, is the key to success. There's nothing named quick wealth. You have to be honest in what you're doing, because your honesty determines your level of integrity, and it allows a person to develop a level of trust in you. And once you're not honest, you start losing credibility, and so persons are going to look at you in a different way. So for all those who are watching, listening, please remember, hard work will always bring success. Be honest in everything you do, and ensure that while being honest, you're also being honest to yourself, because when you're honest to yourself, people will see and appreciate your true worth.
I grew up being taught that honesty is the best policy. Unfortunately though, as I get older and I go through the various experiences in life, school, work, etc., I realize that over time, persons tend to practice the dishonest way of getting things done. And it appear or seem to be the way to go, because the results are quicker and the so-called success seem to come faster. But then when I think about it, I realize that how we function in life is based on relationships. The relation we have with those in our homes, at work, at school, wherever we go. And as such, when persons relate to us, if it is that they find that our habits come with dishonesty, then they will want to shun us. Even if they don't come straight up, as you would say, and say it to your face, somewhere it will be in their heads that this person is dishonest. So they will think twice about relating to you. So it is necessary for us to practice honesty to be successful in life.
When we make a choice, right, there's a burden that is possible along with that choice, right? So a person who is dishonest, they will carry a burden of dishonesty with them about that choice for the rest of their lives. In the case where you are honest about something, it could burden you as well, but then it's not a burden that you carry forever, because that burden will eventually become a blessing. You know, what you were honest about could then become a situation that escalated from your honesty, and then you realize that it was a really good thing that I was honest about this in the first place, because if I had lied or if I was dishonest about it, then things would have turned out even worse than they are now. You know, so I think that being honest in your lives and living an honest life, you know, it comes down to living with no regrets and being able to say, you know what, at least I was always honest about it, you know. And I think with that thought in mind, you can always be at least okay with the outcome of the situation.
Thank you very much, my panelists. Now, from the information shared from the panelists, one word that I'm going to be looking at is credibility. You have to be credible. If you are not credible, then the relationship that you should be having with others, you will not have. Persons are not going to want to do business with you because they're going to say, no, you know, that person stole from me a while back, or they are telling lies to get by. So young people, everybody, remember, credibility. You have to look at that. Now, a follow-up question from this one is, do you think it is important, or why is it important to live an honest life?
Question. And it all boils down to the way you want to live your life. You have to live an honest life because whatever you do will always follow you. And you have to understand, even myself as an adult, I have to appreciate that there are always colleagues, students, the wider society looking on. And they will only pass their judgment based on what I do, what I say, and how I do it. And so I have to ensure that at all times I operate above board, and I operate because I know the lives that I'm impacting.
Importance of living an honest life. I can relate this to a scenario in which getting ready for an exam. You go inside the exam knowing that you are 75% ready. And you go in there, put in the work, you get a grade 3. Knowing that you honestly work for that grade 3, you're going to feel good inside. But going to the exam, not being prepared, you cheat, you get a grade 1. In life, you're not going to know what the grassroots of what you have learned through getting that grade 1. So honesty for me is very important. It gives you a positive effect on life.
Thank you very much, Mr. Supro. We'll answer that one finally for us.
Those are good points coming from the other two panelists. It's important for us to live an honest life because, you know, it then becomes a life that, it comes back to what I was saying earlier about having burdens. You know, eventually it's a life that is free of burdens. Sins are things that follow us throughout our lives. Any sin that we commit, you know, it follows us all the way to the end unless we repent. So I think that being honest, you know, it's a freer way of living than being dishonest. You know, and that's why I think it's important for us to live an honest life.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for answering that question. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, stay with us. One more break and we'll be right.
Honesty, 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 yes, honesty, 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 honesty. Honesty we need, honesty we want. It no make no sense to lying in the sight of God. Children, stand firm. Don't tell no lie. Don't go follow a friend and turn in on no crime. It no make sense. No, it no make no sense. It no look good for you watch I broke fence. Be wise, no act like you nah have no sense. It no make sense. No, it no make sense. How is it possible for you to tell a lie? Wise up, you know, sister, in the right. Honesty make me feel free. It make me feel happy and keep my soul clean. Honesty, yes, that I the pre. Make it truth flow just like a the sea. Honesty, yes, honesty. Honesty, honesty. Honesty is the key to calm. It keep your unbothered and keep your soul warm. Human feel have a honest mind. Truthful thoughts in bind. Binding thoughts will help us grow. Talk the truth, cause what we reap are what we sow. Talk the truth, cause what we reap are what we sow. Honesty, honesty, yes, honesty, honesty. Honesty, yes, honesty.
Welcome back. I'm sure you have been enjoying this discussion, and I can assure you we will be having more content and a lot more things in our Values Corner just for you. So our final question for today, and this is for everyone on our panel: how can parents, teachers, workers help in instilling values into young people? So we'll be starting right here with Mr. Sikwa.
It's pretty simple actually. Just live an honest life and set a good example. I think that goes for all the persons that were mentioned, parents, teachers, and workers.
Yes.
You know, our students, they take from us a lot, even when they don't want to admit it. You know, students watch their teachers and they either admire them for certain actions or certain values that they have or carry out, or they detest them and don't want to have anything to be like them, right? So I think that it comes down to for teachers to always set a good example for the students to follow. You know, it's also important for them to try and motivate the students and believe in them, because if we don't, then they're not going to believe in themselves. That also goes over to the parents as well. The home is where everything starts from, and I think that once a family or a parent sets a good value system for a child or for their children to follow, then I think that that child or those children will actually carry on those values, and then they can themselves pass them on to their children. Yeah, that's my response to that question.
2 words: live it. We can't say to our children, do as I say and not as I do. It is very important that whatever we say to our children in terms of wanting to instill values, they must see us live it. They must see us do it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Green?
It's a very interesting question, and the answer for that from me is all parents, all teachers, everyone need to operate based on a Bible-trained conscience. It has to be a Bible-trained conscience that allows us to operate consistently. We have to demonstrate the right attitude consistently. We can't relent in any way. We have to ensure that we lead by example, because as was said before, our students, our colleagues are looking on, and they will pass judgment based on what we do, what we say, and how we do it. So for me, it's just for us to operate using a Bible-trained conscience and ensure that we do so consistently on a daily basis.
Thank you very much, sir. Ms. Thompson?
As Mr. Sucker had said, it does start from within the home. If our parents does not set the right example for us, we might end up following the same thing that they have been through and end up doing the same thing, ending up right where our parents are. So it does start from within the home. Also, our teachers sets the example. They motivate them. Doing the right thing help them to want to be like them. So they will follow and lead as what they see other persons doing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nelson.
Okay, for me, it's basically being a good role model for us, the youngsters, to follow. Being motivators as well. By living your life the right way. Also, as young people, we tend to adapt to our surroundings easily. So, just be a good person in order, like setting examples as well for us to follow as the youngsters, and that will help instill values in our life. That's my take as it goes to values.
Thank you very much.
Yes, my answer now is the way the child will grow up in the home as what we ask them, because remember one day down by the canteen, a little boy said something to me. I'm saying, little boy, why you have to say that to me? And the way how he behave. And I said, don't come back into the line. The following day, somebody say, one little boy out here, I will look for you. I say, when me looking for me that letter with apology in the letter, I say, I'm going to go up and I start crying. I say, not cry. I say, they have a bad day at your house. I say, they see mother and father, you know, but I say, next time you know how to talk. When you come, just have a little more mannersly and credit into yourself. That is mine.
Thank you. So there you have it. Today's episode on Values Corner. So we're going to set an example. Mrs. Cameron says, live it. 2 words. Credibility, another word. Remember now, the choice you make today will affect you tomorrow. So values are very important. They are the hallmark of society and what we need to guide our daily lives. So we can't operate without values. Today's episode of Values Corner would not have been successful without my wonderful panelists. So I just want to thank each and every one of them. Mr. Sukram, Mrs. Cameron, Mr. Green, Miss Thompson, Mr. Nelson, and Miss Gooden. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us about values and what is expected of us as leaders of this institution. If we're going to lead and we're going to guide students, how can we use values to do that? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for watching Values Corner. Until next time, see you.